There's no better feeling than a personal win, and the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you do just that. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Heed the Call with Hanzus and Marc Sessler is on Underdog, so why not start playing on Underdog today? It's easy. Just you versus the projections. Simply choose higher or lower, and you could win up to 1,000 times your entry. Download and play on the Underdog app. Sign up with the code HTC, that's us, and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash for our U.S. audience only. And one more thing before we get going. Heed the Call is now on its own YouTube channel. And we implore you to subscribe to that new channel, youtube.com/@HeedTheCallPod. Please be there. Support the show. We really appreciate it. On with the show.
Yeah, I lost my first 2 games against them my rookie year.
And after that,
haven't really forgot that. Just a great matchup for us. Love coming to New York, playing. The fans travel well. Great atmosphere. Want to keep it going.
There he is, Dak Prescott. Now 13 consecutive wins over the New York Giants. That is not a rivalry. That is a one-sided butt-kicking after a 20-15 Cowboys win over the New York Giants at the Meadowlands, MetLife Stadium, a game in which Dak and the Cowboys offense started out hot. The defense held the fort, and the biggest questions around the Cowboys and the Giants are about injuries after Micah Parsons and Malik Neighbors both went out late in this game. Dan Hanzus here, along with Marc Sessler, heat in that call. And Marc, they're not all going to be diamonds. I thought we were going to lose Al in this game. Al was not here for the penalties. Al was damn near, I don't know, I think he's over 80 years old, and he ain't here to see laundry all over the field on a Thursday night. So that's the other concern for me, that Al's a treasure. A lot of sloppiness in this game, but the Cowboys come out of it with a dub.
it is just as a bit of a diversion. I find it intriguing when Al becomes so annoyed by anything at all that is elongating the game, because you know that he's already in his world begun to dial up a list of steakhouses and taverns to go to after the game. And so when you've got a Dallas team that had 11 penalties for 89 yards, the Giants much cleaner, but Dallas, you're right, this was a sloppy game. And I think I'm all right with this with Thursday Night Football, just understanding that we're not going to get a lot of questions answered about the deep nature of teams on Thursday night. You're going to get the team that's better at just grinding it out. But I think the biggest news of the evening is you've got Micah Parsons getting carted off late in the game. You've got DeMarcus Lawrence hurt. And while Mike Zimmer is wearing a very unusual baseball cap along with the head coach, he had a nice evening as the defensive coordinator after last week. But that's, for me, the biggest situation is if you lose these players or if you lose them for any amount of time, the Dallas Cowboys are a completely different operation.
Right, and we did not get any details from Mike McCarthy in his presser about the severity of the Micah Parsons injury. He went out late in the game when, let's see who it was. It was Giants guard Greg Van Roten, landed on the back of his leg. He went into the blue tent and very quickly popped out, had his socks off, had his cleat off, and hopped on a cart and was taken back to the locker room. The Cowboys get 10 days off now, or at least 10 days before their next game, so there is time for turnaround, as long as this isn't a serious injury for Parsons. But yeah, that's you hold your breath there. DeMarcus Lawrence also ended this game on the sideline with an injury, and one other big injury, Malik Neighbors, at the end of that game on a fourth down attempt near the sideline, got shaken up, was down. He kind of landed face mask first at a high rate of speed, so that was ugly, but hopefully he'll be okay, because he had another huge game for the Giants, who have really decided, and Brian Daboll's decided that if we are to win any games, it's just going to be throwing at this rookie wide receiver. as much as possible. 15 targets for Malik Neighbors, 12 catches for 115 yards. So another big performance. He is off to a pace. Like we saw Puka Nacua, Mark, last year break all those rookie records. Neighbors, as long as he stays healthy, is going to smash all those marks, because this is what the Giants, this is what they're built to do. They had a horrendous game running the football. 24 carries for 26 yards in this game. And in addition to Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson is getting targeted 14 times in this game. So the cupboard's pretty bare around Daniel Jones, but he has a very special young playmaker in Neighbors, and get used to it. That's all I'll say.
It does seem that Neighbors makes Daniel Jones a more efficient passer, like 2 games in a row. Like his numbers tonight, like he threw 40 passes by the end, but he was like 21 for 23 at some point. I think Neighbors left, I think it was a head injury that he left with, so we'll see what goes down with that. I think you're exactly right. Like the Giants' journey is concerning to me, because you're in the 3rd year of this, and there are major deficiencies, personnel-wise, and in terms of like you come out of a game like this and you can barely run the ball, and you are reliant on one player, and that's where they are right now. And like Neighbors is an absolute star. Like I really just think he's the kind of person that's going to light up the league for 7 or 8 years in a row. But it's not enough for the Giants, and the Giants to me feel a little planless, a little organizationally drifting away, and they're not a relevant team at this point. And the Cowboys came in and took care of business, but like, am I meant to come out of this? And I think most people, like, you're tracking Twitter, like most people are just like, oh, cool, the Cowboys won here. All right. But like, there's not a lot to take away from the Dallas effort either. It's like you went and took care of business. Dak was relatively clean, but they also seem like a team that struggles to run the ball. It was like late in the 3rd quarter, and their leading rusher was CeeDee Lamb with 10 yards. So it's like, this is a team that also, like, if you want to get into the deep darkness of the season, into when the weather gets rough and stuff, I don't trust Dallas to be any different than an average type of team. And this tonight is like, you'll win this game, but then like you're going to be challenged a week from now. What resources do you have to get out of trouble?
Yeah, I think style points are not necessary on Thursday. I understand it. It's like,
you're right.
It's the way that the league has set up this schedule. These players are just grinding through it, and if you could survive it without losing half your roster, and the Giants and the Cowboys are both holding their breath with some of their star players, you consider it a victory. I think, yeah, we'll see about the Cowboys. I certainly am not here for any takes in the morning about how the Cowboys have fixed their defense or whatever. Yeah, they held the Giants to 5 field goals. But this is the Giants team that we just told you is very limited in terms of the scope of their offense and the ways that they can beat you. So the Cowboys still have a lot of questions have answered as things move forward. But it was good, I thought, in terms of what was progress for the Cowboys. Yes, the defense did keep the Giants out of the end zone. That's progress after the grisliness of the last couple of weeks. On that side of the ball, they made some big plays in the secondary finally, including the game-icing interception, which, by the way, I hated that last Giants drive. Let's just get into that a second. So Brandon Aubrey, shout out, unbelievable again, is an absolute assault on the record books and what we thought a kicker was capable of. He hits his first 2 kicks in this game from 40, and then he bangs a 60-yarder, and it's like hitting a 60-yarder in the Meadowlands, an outdoor venue where the wind is known to swirl. He just cuts right through everything, splits the uprights, but he does miss a 51-yarder in the final minute, and the Giants are set up at that point, and I just hated the way that last drive played out. Let's see, they 3 plays, they take over. I know there's only 28 seconds, and there's no timeouts left. So obviously they're up against it. It's a 5-point game. Weirder things have happened. Put it that way.
Yeah, they're at their own 41. Absolutely.
They're at their own 41. Daniel Jones shotgun drops back. Wan'Dale Robinson, kind of. It's a little bit of a Minneapolis Miracle scenario where the Cowboy in coverage, Nealand, kind of got out of position where he's going out for an interception, and Robinson just not very competitive on the route. a better wide receiver. Malik Neighbors makes that catch, put it this way. But Robinson not making that catch. Second down, it's a bad kind of desperation heave on the right side, incomplete. And then on 3rd and 10, just like a long, lofted interception down the right sideline. I know they were in trouble, but how about a couple bing, bing, bing receptions that get you on the other side of the field and make that interesting? There was a hopelessness, I thought, even to that last stretch. It was like, that man, the Giants are going to be hard to watch this year.
I think that's well said. It's like, again, it's like I always thought that the Brian Daboll experience would be similar to Buffalo, where you've got a mobile quarterback in Daniel Jones. I know he's not Josh Allen, but you've got 2 or 3 off seasons to build around him. And here we are. And there's very little hope at the end of that game that New York's going to do anything or that they're going to mean anything. And they can't get out of their own way. They're a field goal offense. They have been, if you look like this entire, like in 3 of their 4 games, they have been a completely field goal offense. And I'm not sure what vision is involved in that. I'm really not. And I think, like, you know, you're making things easy for a Dallas team that against a better opponent tonight would have been vulnerable. They would have been vulnerable, but the Giants don't present that kind of a problem.
No. The best news, I would think, from a waking of a Giants scenario, I would say, is CeeDee Lamb, who, you know, we talked about it a lot during the past week about how Lamb kind of took himself out of that last game against Baltimore and actually acknowledged that leading into this game. And he blew up in this game. He had nearly 100 yards, had a long touchdown. And it did remind me of last year. We were doing the old show, and I remember on the show imploring CeeDee Lamb to wake up and be the guy that I know he could be. And then he followed that a bad loss in San Francisco where he was pouting on the sideline with 6 straight games with at least 11 catches and 7 games with more than 100 yards. So is that the beginning of a big CD run? Because as he goes, that offense goes. So that's a positive thing. And then Justin just sent this along from Mike Garafolo of NFL Network. Micah Parsons spent some time icing his ankle on the Cowboys training table, limping a bit, but no indications here in the locker room he suffered a significant injury. So obviously, great news there. The only concern you have if you're a Cowboys fan, hopefully it's not a high ankle sprain, and we know how that could jack up a season. If it's a mid or low ankle sprain, then he should be good to go by the time the Cowboys are back on the field. So, yeah, these Thursday night games they could be wars of attrition, and I think that's what we watched tonight.
Yep, they got the Steelers next in Pittsburgh, tough defense. Detroit after that. Then they're bye, and so that can heal things. But then the Niners and the Falcons. So, like, it does not get easier for the Cowboys. I'd say one thing about the Giants before we go. Like, this is sort of what annoys me. They get down to the Dallas 3, and it's 4th and 3, and they're within, they're down by less than a touchdown, and they kick a field goal, and it's like, what is Brian Daboll? Because I would have assumed they're more aggressive. I would have assumed that they're like, this is what we kill teams for week after week. It's like that. Like every bot and everything is saying, you go for it from there. Who are you? What is your identity? And you kick a field goal, and it's like, when will the New York Giants want to be reborn as something that seems even semi-important to me? Like, if you're going to put them on Thursday Night Football in this situation, like, matter, go for it, take a risk, change your season. And I feel like in this game tonight, Dallas, totally milquetoast, was almost handed the game by a Giants team that doesn't know how to, in these situations, be the equal. And I'm an old school, like, East Coast guy like you. Like, the Giants are like my second team, and I found myself piqued by what I saw tonight. We have got a lot of Giants friends, and it's like, what are you and who are you?
Yeah, they are a team searching for an identity. Neighbors is the closest thing to establishing them as something very watchable. I'm seeing here that he left the game with a concussion, so that's something now to keep an eye on. And he became the first player, this per ESPN, in NFL history with at least 25 catches and 3 touchdowns in his first 4 career games. So, obviously a really special start, but they're going to need more. They're going to need more than Neighbors to make this a team that's contending on any level or is even watchable, because I wouldn't say they were very exciting in that regard. On
You know what
Thursday
was though?
night.
Like I love that it's 2024, and as we get to the end of the game here, they are promoting the J.C. Penney post game show. Like what? Like I know that I know that store still still exists in our society, but like J.C. Penney does a post game show at this point. Like that's it just sort of is
I don't really have a J.C. Penney take. Isn't that like a major retailer?
I mean, I feel like it's like, hey, the only place you can go find J.C. Penney like is in a mall that's like half shut down in like Paramus, New Jersey, or like Central Iowa.
Yeah,
like,
no,
that's the company that's like. But you're right. Is it it's not a hot take or anything. It just like seems like a bit of an antiquated like sponsor type item. But
I didn't think we'd be talking J.C. Penney tonight, but it wasn't a great game. Speaking of the Amazon coverage, can you pull up a tweet I had earlier tonight?
you've not been a fan of this show first.
I mean, let's count them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people at this desk.
Totally
for
absurd.
Amazon for the coverage, the pre and post game and halftime coverage. Like, how is anyone able to have a conversation? Now, we do a show. You and I, Mark, and Justin is in, and sometimes Connor's on the show, and like our Thursday preview show, which you could check out right now. Mike and Jordan Rodriguez join us. 4 is a lot, right? I'll never forget when Chris Mad Dog Russo, we met him for the first time at Radio Row, and it was when Chris was still with us. And after we wrapped up, we were just making small chat with Mad Dog, and he famously, of course, did the radio show with Mike Francesa, Mike and the Mad Dog. So they broke up, and there was an acrimonious breakup there. And he was like, "There's 4 of you, huh? Oh, that's hard.
Yep.
Good for you. 4, huh?" Now, 6 people. How can anyone have a conversation when there's 6 people on that desk?
It's rubble. It's totally absurd. And like my mind goes to the same place because we did owners meetings.
That's terrible.
Yeah, we did owner meetings chats. I remember we had like Andy Reid in once, and it was like we've got 8.5 minutes with Andy Reid, and there's 4 of us. And not all 4 of us are going to speak equally. We know how the show works. So it's like you are literally wrestling psychologically with the people on your own show to get even a word in. And so there were like interviews where like I remember one where Wes didn't even speak, and like that's just how it works. So it's like the idea that 6 people are gonna have a functional conversation with like Dak Prescott at the end of the night.
Like, can you prove to me that Tony Gonzalez opened his mouth today? Like, could you actually prove it to me?
I don't know if anyone is paid more to, and I'm not he does what he does, and he is an all-time player, and he does quality work, I'm certain, but like I don't remember anything he said in the last 15 to 20 years, but like he is getting paid a lot of money to simply sit there as a beefy human. Like, I guess that's the job. I'm not sure what the job is. Is that the job?
I don't know. There's just a lot of people on that.
Yeah.
On that desk.
No, it's packed.
All right. By the way, Justin, where's Gravedigger? Gravedigger, come on, bud. I mean, don't we have something we want to share with the audience? I want you jumping in.
We do.
Yeah.
We did it. And by we, I mean you guys, the listeners, the audience, maybe the viewers, actually, because if you're on YouTube, I mean, maybe you're just listening.
What is this higher register you now speak in? Is this something has changed since the last time that you were with us?
It's my excited and proud of the audience voice.
Oh,
Higher register.
that's sweet.
You guys got us clear of the 10K mark before we taped the Thursday preview show, which was the goal that we put out on Wednesday, which wasn't a lot of time to get to 10K. But you guys did it, and we forgot to mention it on the Thursday preview show. But here we are, still on Thursday recording. And shout out to the listeners, the viewers, the audience for pushing us over the 10K mark. But guess what? We're never satisfied. So let's get to 20K now.
Yeah, I have a goal in mind that our next goal is to have more subscribers than our former home had. That's just what, and we could look that up and see what that is. But let's just keep building on it. Let's build. Let's chop wood, Dog.
Yeah, can I congratulations to everyone who, clicked a button. Like, I appreciate that too. But can I go, like, I'm not going negative, but can I be a little stern?
Okay.
Well, no, but if you need to be verbally reminded by us to subscribe to the channel, then it's time to up your game. Like, you don't need to be disciplined by us. And now I'm very proud of you at the same time. It's a
what are you talking
cat
about?
and string theory. Well, no, just like I appreciate you, but also if I need to tell you to do it, let's get in sync.
Okay. Very nice. And here is hashtag 48.3. That's the new goal.
I like that.
Actually, make it 48.4. That's the new goal. So let's go for it. Again, plenty of content for you guys as we edge into the weekend. Tomorrow morning, we will have the latest draft up for the flagship program. I believe Justin Graver had the first overall pick, so see how he did with that. So you can get that on patreon.com/heedthecall, where I have all sorts of content over there now. You have the week 4 preview with Mike and Jordan right now sitting in your device of choice. And then, yes, Sunday we will see you for the flagship program. So thank you to everybody for, in all sincerity, Mark. I don't know what that was. It was almost a little bit of a jab of the audience, or you were challenging them, or I don't know what it was, but I am very thankful to have the support that we have. The people, we say, please get us to 10. Bang, we get 10. So next is what, Justin? Hashtag it.
Hashtag 48.3K?
No,
just
48.4.
48.4. Sorry. I wasn't
gonna
paying
tie?
attention earlier when you said it. No, you're right.
That's the goal, Mark. Support.
No, like,
we
it's good.
support them because they support us.
I don't not support them, but it's good cop, bad cop. You need a little bit of both. Like, it can't just be like, you're so wonderful, like, let me put socks on you and comb your hair. It's like, I want you also to understand that there's another region we can get to as a group, and we need to be serious about this.
Okay.
But I appreciate your approach too. But like, together we create the right approach.
I hear
Like,
you. I know where you're coming
You
from.
can praise them and tell them that that you think about them, and I'll say what I say.
Okay. Why do you have Levi on tonight? Where are you going? You doing something tonight? Take it easy, Mark. Just
Nowhere. Like, no, it's
come on. It's week 4. We got a lot of season ahead of us.
What are you a sex addiction? You got a problem with sex?
No.
Sex? You addicted to sex?
It's
a sex addiction or something?
No, I am staying home this evening, and
Okay.
probably just turn on like a Titans game from week 2 or 3 and grind through that tape.
All right. Thank you to everybody. That's a great idea. Thank you to everybody for listening. Until next time, heed the call.
Thursday night football is not a good night. Not for me. Not for Giants fans all over the world. This is what happens when Eli Manning and Odell Beckham take the night off. Let the kids play. Clearly, it wasn't my 10 out there. Clearly, that was Jones. And we all know who was catching that rock. It wasn't Odell. No. It was Neighbors. A talented guy. But he's no Beckham. A slogfest is what they call it. I once did a slogfest, a Shakespeare play. A little off-Broadway thing I did. Back in 1972, all nude. Except for me, I refuse. It's a little something about me no one knows. I'm a never nude. Anyway, Giants, 15. Cowboys, 20. Disappointment abounds and wrecks the Big Apple tonight. Back to you, Dan.